Hey, welcome back to the Fantasy Flow podcast. I'm Austin Grandin. That's Andy Phillips. And we got a good one for you today. This is our first recording in a couple months. We're ready to dive into it. This is our second season of covering the NFL. And boy, I got a power rankings of all 32 NFL teams and ranked in their sort of chance to win the Super Bowl as I see it. Basically, just your standard power rankings. And Andy has no idea the order, so we're going to get his live reactions and we're going to debate. And then as we go team by team, we're going to discuss the fantasy football implications because this is a fantasy football show, right, Andy?
Correctamundo.
All right. So I say we just jump into it. We are going to go in reverse order. So the number 32 team in the NFL, according to the official Fantasy Flow power rankings, is the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
That makes sense.
We're going chalk to start. I imagine it's going to be pretty chalky for a little bit, but man, I mean, their quarterback situation is just miserable. I mean, it was already bad when they had Derek Carr, and then he retires out of nowhere. They seem like they're probably going to start their second round rookie in Tyler Shuck, the 28-year-old rookie, and the wide receiver core is bad, and that's even when Chris Olave's healthy, which he rarely is anymore. So that's a huge area of concern. Alvin Kamara just turned 30. Yeah, there's just not a lot to write home about on offense. Like I'm very worried. And you know, I like their new head coach, but he just doesn't have much to work with this year, and I just see this being a total like punt. Basically, like they're punting on 2025 to get the roster and the salary cap and everything. Like this is just a dead year. That's how I see it. Andy, how about you?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I learned some pretty interesting news about the Saints. They were the ones that started the whole dead void years in the contracts with Mickey Loomis, I think is the GM's name, and Drew Brees. I didn't really realize that. Like they started this whole trend, and now they're the laughing stock when it comes to contracts and everything. They started this crazy invention, and now everybody took it and ran with it and made it better, and they've still been like stuck in the past about these contracts, and it has just bitten them in the butt time and time again over these last couple of years. So yeah, I think they're just trying to get out of that groove and like you said, make their roster better in the next 2-3 years coming forward.
This is going to be their lump year, so that's why I have them at 32. But even the Saints potentially have some fantasy relevant players. Are you interested in Alvin Kamara or Chris Olave this year?
Kamara would be the only person I'd be interested in. I think Derek Carr leaving takes everybody takes a huge hit. That's my only interesting player. Maybe a splash play at Jawan Johnson. If you're gonna have to string that position anyway, there's a guy that you know is consistent because there's no Hill. There's no Taysom Hill.
It's just so risky because I anticipate bad quarterback play, and Chris Olave, his injuries already make him risky. So there's just so much risk. I'm just avoiding him entirely. And then Alvin Kamara, I love the guy, and his workload is guaranteed pretty much. You know, he's locked in there as the starter, as the workhorse, but like there's only so many fantasy points you can score when your offense goes 3 and out, you know? Like I just don't know how many touchdown opportunities he's even going to get. So, yeah, and you know, he's not too high in ADP, so like you could talk me into it, but I would just kind of rather go elsewhere.
Yeah, running back 16 off the board right now. And are you taking the over or the under on the Saints' regular wins at 5.5?
Yeah, I didn't go through each team's schedule and like really plot this out in terms of win total over unders. I can give you like a gut feeling though. And honestly, my gut feeling is that you're going to find with these over unders, it's like the numbers are surprisingly high for the bad teams and surprisingly low for the good teams. It's like Vegas doesn't want to really go out on a limb and call their shot. So
Mm,
all the over under projections are kind of truncated towards the middle. So with some of these bad teams, I think the safer bet would be just go under, because really, are the Saints going to come out on top 6 times this season? Like, I find that hard to believe, even though 5.5 is like the lowest, I think, in the league projections wise. I would go under.
yeah, I would go under as well. They're winning. There's no way they win more than 5 games.
Yeah. All right. So forgot to mention up top, but like I said, I ranked all 32 NFL teams and I put them into tiers, and you're going to see that now on the screen. And the bottom tier I have as just teams that are destitute. Like, just they're on the bottom and there's no way out. Not now, not next year. They're destitute. And so the Saints are obviously the first team in that tier, and the next team joining them in that tier at 31 is the Cleveland Browns. Now, unlike the Saints, the Cleveland Browns have some nice position groups that I'm like, oh wow, yeah. Like, I like Myles Garrett, and I like what they did in the draft moving back. They added that Mason Graham to go with Myles Garrett. So now they have a couple of really talented guys on the D line. And then, of course, they have the cornerback, Ward. He's one of the best in the league. So the defense is, I would say, what, league average? I think they have a stud linebacker who's going to miss most, if not all, the year with a pretty bad injury he sustained at the end of last year. So that's tough. But yeah, it's not so much the roster as it is the toxicity around the organization and just how little faith I have in them to get it right. And I anticipate it being kind of a carousel at the quarterback position. I don't think anyone's going to start more than 10 games. I think that they're going to want to see a couple different guys. So, yeah, the whole situation is just yikes. And I think they're like the Saints. They're playing for next year. And, they have the Jaguars' first-round pick as well as their own next year. So this, to me, 2025 is just not it,
Yeah, I think we're giving the Browns a little bit too much crap because of their team name and because of their owners. I'm looking at their roster right now. If all these names were on the Steelers, we would say they have a good chance of making a deep run in the playoffs. I mean, minus the quarterback, I understand what I'm saying, but I mean, they have great running back depth. They have great they have a star wide receiver. They have great tight end depth. They have Myles Garrett, probably the best defensive player in the NFL. That has to count for something. They're deep. They like you said, Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome. I mean, they have some guys back there, and I'm just listing the starters, let alone the depth behind some of these position groups. So, I don't know. They're listed at 4.5 wins on Vegas. I think I'm taking the over just because that is just ridiculous. I think they can come out on top if they figure out the quarterback position sometime during the season, and I realize what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. I mean, Jerry Jeudy showed a lot of flashes last year. So did Cedric Tillman at times, and then they add Deontay Johnson, like,
yeah,
an enthused, ready to play Deontay Johnson with a full offseason with the team. Like,
true.
I could see him making real contributions. So yeah, like if we knew it was Joe Flacco for the whole season, or even if we knew it was Sanders for the whole season, like, I think the kid's talented. I wasn't sure if he was a first round pick. I was, I guess, lower than consensus. I thought he was more of a second rounder, but he's not a sixth rounder. So like,
No.
I think there is some to work with here, and probably my favorite guy for fantasy. We haven't even brought up his name yet, but I really like David Njoku for this year at tight end, especially in terms of ADP. You don't got to pay up for him, but yeah, he on a per game basis was like pretty much dominant last year. And tight end's just a really common security blanket for a young quarterback. So I could see that taking less time to really gel as it would
Right.
like a Jerry Jeudy.
Right. I agree. Yeah, that's a great point. I haven't really thought about this team for fantasy football, to be quite honest. I
I get
mean,
it. Hey, I mean,
yeah, yeah. As I'm just trying to hype them up, I'm like, none of these names sound that great. Tillman could be an interesting pick, but if I'm going to pick anybody from this team, it's the 1 year Ohio State player Quinshawn Judkins.
yeah. He's going to be really interesting. So yeah, if he has the pass catching role, I could see a young quarterback needing to dump it down often, especially if this team is trailing as often as I expect them to be trailing. So whoever has the pass catching role there, that's going to be really valuable. So I don't know if that's Quinshawn Judkins or the other rookie running back they picked up later in the draft, but I would just kind of avoid it. I feel like you could do better, but I don't know. Yeah, just check back in a month or two when when
Right,
more
right.
news comes out about training camp and their practices and the depth chart, what that looks like. Like this is a very like TBD offense. But yeah, for now I'm kind of out.
Okay,
Um,
I'm agree. 2 for 2 so far.
okay. Yeah, the next team, and this is the last team in that destitute tier, coming in at number 30 is the New York Jets. Um, I was so in on the New York Jets last year with Aaron Rodgers, and I just thought they did everything right in the offseason. They brought in more weapons on offense. They like reloaded on the offensive line and through the draft and whatever else. And I couldn't have been more wrong. That was my biggest whiff of 2024 was the New York Jets. And yeah, now it seems like they are doing that thing that I talked about earlier, taking their lumps. They're like, okay, this is the year to slow down. We hired a new coach with a new mindset, and we're gonna slow down, be patient, and get this right over time. And I just don't think that's going to translate to success in 2025. I think it's a good strategy for the future. They're going to slow down. They're very patient with the draft. They're not reaching on a new quarterback, right? They're not trying to be so all in on 2025. They really took it easy. They paid a really inexpensive quarterback in Justin Fields to come in, see what he can do. If he shows flashes, if he's showed growth over the last few years, this is really his first chance to be like a full-time starter. Like I was looking at Justin Fields game logs, and I think maybe once did he play like 15 games in a season. Like he's missed games, he's been benched, like it's been very tumultuous, but this is his chance to be a full-time starter, see what he can do. It's just a very low risk, low reward move, which I think sets you up well for the future for sure, especially if you win a lot of, especially if you lose a lot of games
Right,
in the draft.
right.
What are your thoughts on these Jets?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to them. I mean, Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, uh, they're the ones that drafted Mason Taylor, two tight end,
Yeah.
a new tight end, excuse me. I don't know. This offense, it seems exciting, a lot more exciting than last year, and the defense is still formidable. But you have a brand new head coach, you have a brand new quarterback, like you just said, a Justin Fields quarterback that hasn't played a full season. Um, yeah, I think this is another team that people are kind of sleeping on overall, but understanding the landscape, especially in the AFC, I think that's one thing that we have to mention with the Cleveland being in probably the toughest division in football, and the Jets just being an AFC team in general it is going to be a tough sled this year. Being in any team in the AFC is going to have to be going through the
Yeah.
ringer to try to make any moves, make any waves in the NFL.
Yeah, I like that you touched on that. And yeah, I did my rankings 1 through 32, and I can share some just general observations with you without giving too much away. The AFC is really top heavy. I mean, the teams that won their division last year, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Texans. It's like, how are those four teams not winning their division again? Like it's just so hard to really break through. And yeah, so you'll notice they're really top heavy, and then also the bottom 10 of my rankings is going to be full of AFC teams who had just kind of threw their hands in the air, and they're like,
Yeah.
rebuilding. They're like, okay, 2025 is not our year because of
Yeah.
those guys at the top. And yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. I'm also kind of sneaky excited for this Jets offense for fantasy. I think there's a lot of value to be had here. Devontae Adams is gone, and he caught 7 touchdowns for this team, racked up a lot of catches, a lot of yards, and that's got to go somewhere. I mean, not all of it. Like, it will go down, the total passing volume. I don't think Justin Fields is going to throw 28 touchdowns like Aaron Rodgers did, but it's got to go somewhere. And I think a lot of it's going to go to Garrett Wilson. I think he's a very good volume play. I really like the opportunity in front of Mason Taylor, the rookie tight end. If I had to pick a rookie tight end, he's probably my top rookie tight end above the other two.
Oh, wow.
Which
Wow.
we'll get to. But there's just not a lot of competition for targets. It's Garrett Wilson, and the wide receiver 2, people are saying it's Josh Reynolds, which would be great for my dynasty team. But like, I have no. That's not a good thing, for the Jets. I have no
No.
confidence that that's gonna be like an advantage for the New York Jets. So yeah, lots of opportunity for Mason Taylor. So that's exciting. And then Brees Hall is he's going to get a lot of dump offs too. I think we're talking about a bunch of bad teams, so I'm going to repeat myself a little bit. But yeah, that game script where you're having to throw to catch up, that could help the running back. But
yeah,
Justin Fields isn't really like a dump off kind of guy. Like he's
Nope.
more of if his first or second read isn't there, he's gonna tuck it and run. So
Yeah, I love Garrett Wilson. I'm okay. I understand the risks with the Jets, and Garrett Wilson has kind of let you down, kind of not let you down, whatever. I'm more than okay, more than comfortable drafting Garrett Wilson, but drafting Brees Hall when you have, I think it's kind of like the Nike logo. Like, it's like, oh, that's really nice, but then you put on their socks and you're like, oh, there's holes in these things after a week. Like,
yeah,
so
the
I think
name's
that's
a little better than the game. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's what you're looking at when you see Brees Hall, is like, it's a lot of risk for a heavy price tag.
yeah. No, I totally agree. I just don't know how much touchdown opportunity there's going to be in this offense. So
That's a good point. That's a great point.
but yeah, we both like Garrett Wilson. That's going to wrap up the destitute tier. The next team is going to be in a tier that I dubbed maybe next year. So they're not going to compete this year, but they do have enough there to perhaps potentially actually compete next year. And coming in at 29, this is probably the first pick that's not exactly chalk. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 29.
Yes, I love it.
Okay. I imagine that their Vegas win total isn't as low as the teams that they're kind of right around in my power rankings. I'm a little lower than consensus. I'm just kind of annoyed with the Jags. I'm annoyed with Trevor Lawrence. I'm annoyed that I feel like we just keep getting promised. They overpromise and they underdeliver, like, as a team. On defense too. I just feel like they throw a lot of draft picks on that side of the ball, and it just never really comes together. And I'm losing faith. This backfield is a mess. We don't even need to get to fantasy football yet, but just like when you have 3 running backs, you have none. And the offensive line's really bad. I don't know, man. Like, I love Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter's going to be an amazing player, but I just don't see it translating to wins. I have no idea how they're going to use Travis Hunter, so it's hard to even account for him when we're talking about the Jags. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Jacksonville?
I hate Jack. I was just listening to them in the car about them on the car ride home today. I'm like, this team is trash. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. Okay, Brian Thomas Jr. is amazing for fantasy football. They don't have running backs. They don't have a tight end anymore.
Right.
And okay, is if we apply that New York Jets first year head coach logic that, they're basically taking an L this year. Shouldn't we, like, why aren't we applying that to Jacksonville? It's a brand new head coach. He just had recent rise as a coordinator, Liam Cohen. what makes us all say he's going to be an amazing coach to turn this team around and turn them turn around just like he did with Tampa. And um, another point is kind of what the Seahawks did last year. They hired Mike McDonald late, so he got his offensive coordinator late, and he scrounged the team up together. Now, we actually were very close to making the playoffs. We hit 10 wins, but I'm kind of taking that same logic, like, okay, they hired their head coach late. They got their offensive coordinator late, defensive coordinator late. He didn't pick a single player on this team, like it's a brand new GM. There's so many unknowns. And from what we've seen already, I don't like watching. I don't enjoy myself watching it. And I think it's going to be the same this year. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good. And this year it's really going to show.
Yeah, he's better than any quarterback we've talked about, which is why I think the Jags are in a different tier than those bottom three teams. But he's not as good as his contract. And we want to talk about the fantasy football options. We all love Brian Thomas Jr., absolute stud. He's the number one in this offense, and that means something for sure. Travis Hunter, even if he is a full-time wide receiver, he's a wide receiver too in a below average offense. I see him being kind of like a Devontae Smith sort of, and that's best case scenario for his rookie year. Like if he's full-time wide receiver in his rookie year, he could possibly be kind of that like skinny, shifty wide receiver to Devontae Smith, except he's not in this great Eagles offense with a great offensive line. He's in like a bad offense. And ADP wise, he's going right next to Tet McMillan, which I thought was funny. Tet McMillan's like, he's going to be the one in Carolina, and he's a rookie too, and he was a top pick too. So it's like that was just to be so much safer,
Yes.
Barring any sort of other fantasy points he might score. Check your leagues, check your scoring settings. I don't know what he's going to do on defense or special teams, but I'm pretty much avoiding the backfield. I'm avoiding Brenton Strange unless you're in like a 16-team league or something like that. Like I just think that, yes, he has an opportunity in front of him for dynasty. That's exciting, but like, come on, you can do better than Brenton Strange. And same with all the running backs. Yeah. It's like, gross. Get out of here.
Are you paying the price to draft Brian Thomas Jr.?
Probably not.
He's just the wide receiver 8 off the board.
I am not anti Brian Thomas Jr. Don't hear what I'm not saying. If I had to pick, like I would pick Puka over him. I would pick Nico Collins over him.
Drake London.
I would probably go Drake London, but yeah, I like he it's close, and like I really like Brian Thomas Jr. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a challenge.
I agree.
And Brian Thomas, he did some of his best stuff with Mac Jones. So
I agree. That's also a scary thing. Is like how, and it kind of took him a while. Granted, he was a rookie wide receiver. It kind of took him a while to get going with Trevor Lawrence. So he's had less games with Trevor Lawrence, and now he has more competition with at least with Travis Hunter wise. And
definitely.
I'm staying away. I'm excited to watch. I give props to anybody that will draft him, but I would much rather draft all those players you just mentioned ahead of him.
All right, next, number 28, the Tennessee Titans, also known as the Titans. Yeah, I just really like Cam Ward. I like the fresh start. I think you are going from Will Levis, and whatever you're jumping to, whatever that next stepping stone, wherever you want to, like, it's going to be so much better than Will Levis.
Yes,
like it's just an instant upgrade. I don't care how much he struggles. Like, Cam Ward is a very dynamic player. His calling card back in college was just being so calm in the pocket and making the right reads and just delivering it with accuracy. It's like, that's everything that Will Levis wasn't. And so I just love his pocket presence, awareness, and I'm just Really excited. They're getting L'Jarius Sneed back on defense. He spent most of last year really hurt,
Mm,
and yeah, I mean, look, they're what did I say? They were 28, so like they're still a bad team. Don't get me wrong, but like
yeah.
they were the worst team last year, right? They had the number one pick, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they go from the worst team in the league and they move up 5 spots. And yeah, I think there actually is some stuff to be excited about. You look at Tony Pollard's numbers last year; they're surprisingly good, surprisingly efficient. He just it didn't score enough because the offense was so bad. He's kind of an interesting sort of mid-round running back, and then Calvin Ridley I think is one of the steals in the draft right now, and everyone
Oh.
is kind of saying that in the industry. So I'm worried his
Mm.
ADP is going to go up, but uh, man, Calvin Ridley, the passes were just so inaccurate that he had to work with, and so I like I said, I think an upgrade at QB and Calvin Ridley's going to be a steal if he's still around in like the sixth, seventh round.
Yeah, I haven't thought about this team at all for fantasy. I really don't know if I like anybody on here, to be quite honest. I think Tony Pollard is probably like the okay. I don't have a I went hero running back or zero running back strategy. I could see Tony Pollard kind of fitting into that mold, depending on your team, depending on your draft.
Yeah.
I think defense. I think if this team's defense can hold the other team to less than 15, 16 points or something, they might have a chance to win the game. They're going to really rely on their defense, and they're going to
Yeah.
have a couple splash games where they're going to score 28, 28 points, 25 points, but it's going to, if they want to win, it's got to be low scoring. This defense has a lot of names, a lot of really good names, some of them older, some of them still really quality players, but 5.5 wins. I don't know. I kind of like the over on the kind of going back to what you're saying about these bad teams taking having really low win totals. I kind of like them winning more than 5 games.
Yeah, they're in a really soft division, which I love. They added
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Lockett and Van Jefferson, and then a couple of later round rookies. I don't know. I think you could do worse. Um, if my last point, and I think this is going to be more featured on like a future episode of ours when we really dig into some fun numbers that I've been cooking up. I'm looking at targets and yards that. Oh, geez, what's the word? Might have
Yards
to.
after the catch.
No, uh, they're not on the team anymore.
Oh, vacant targets.
Yes. Okay. Okay. We're gonna edit that. Okay. So yeah, these might be some numbers that we'll bring up on a future episode. Just stuff that I've been cooking up. I've been looking at like vacated targets, vacated yards, as it pertains to fantasy football. That for the uninitiated, that means yards, targets, receiving touchdowns for players from 2024 and who are now no longer on that team. So it's like, how big is the void? How big is the opportunity for the players on that team this year? And Nick Westbrook Akine, if you remember, he scored 9 passing touchdowns last year. And that was like half of the passing touchdowns. So he's
Yikes.
gone. The Titans are tied for the league lead with the most vacated receiving touchdowns. So he represented 9 of those, and there's a couple other players who are no longer on the team. And altogether, I think it was like 14 vacated touchdowns receptions.
Wow.
So that's a big
Wow.
opportunity. I don't think that's going to happen again. Like I think more of it will go to the wide receiver one, that is Calvin Ridley, with a quarterback
Yes.
upgrade.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
I would agree. I would agree.
Enough time spent on the Titans. We're going to go to number 27, which is the Carolina Panthers.
Wow. Okay. I keep on waiting for a certain team to pop up, and they don't. You surprise me. Okay. Carolina Panthers.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder when we'll get there. Yeah. I don't know what to make of Bryce Young. We saw some really good games last year. He seems to be progressing every year after that horrible rookie year, but
Mm-hmm.
this defense leaves a lot to be desired. I
Yes.
don't know. I really like Tet. Chuba Hubbard showed some things last year. I'm excited for him, but I don't know. It's just kind of meh. Like I didn't know where to put them. I think they're a little better than all the teams we've talked about, but it's hard to get excited about the Panthers. I just feel like they're still at least a year away from competing.
Yes, I agree. Did you catch the video that that the organization posted about them in the draft room and the GM being interviewed about
No.
making draft choices, looking over at David Tepper, looking like, and him just he just goes like they're talking about who they should draft and if they think it's a reach or whatever, and then the GM and the president both look over at David Tepper, and he just blank face stares at them, and they're like, okay, well, he's not going to give us the answer, and so they collab together. Oh, dude, it's a great video. Really shows you the ins and outs of those types of decisions making that they
Huh.
had to make on the fly. Great video. I think this is another example of it's Dave Canales' second year. He's had a full year with the team now. He's had a full off season. He's had some input in the draft room on some players that he want. They went and got Tet McMillan. I think this is a very fun team to watch on offense. You're right. The defense has still a little but if they can just step it up a notch or two, I think they fit right into the mold of where they're at in your rankings.
Yeah, I didn't bury him, but like I just can't really give him much more credit than this at the same time.
I agree.
It's
I
just
agree.
tough.
Bryce Young this is probably his do or die year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. For fantasy, I'm pretty much avoiding it. Like I
Oh wow.
you could make a case for Tet McMillan. We'll see where his ADP sort of settles in at, but I just think there's safer picks. Maybe if I went safe early on, he could be kind of my like shot. But yeah, I would need to like the quarterback more. I would need to have more faith in the organization if I was going to take a shot on a rookie wide receiver, which we'll talk about more. You know, we're going to talk about all 32 teams, so stay tuned. But I don't know, Andy. That we
Do you
we
do you
got
think
got some disagreement there.
yeah, do you think Chuba Hubbard outdoes his RB17 status right now? Do you think Chuba Hubbard could do top 15, top 14?
He could, yeah, he could. Um, I don't know that I would project. He's fine where he's at. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
pretty
probably
meh
yeah.
on those guys. I just like I said, it's just more of a faith in the team, faith in the offense thing. I would
Mm,
probably rather go somewhere else, like an Aaron Jones or something. I don't have the ADP up in front of
sure,
me, but like
sure. I do.
an
Yeah, yeah.
offense that I kind of feel better about. It has nothing to do with Chuba Hubbard. I don't know.
Kenneth Walker or Chuba Hubbard?
Oh, Kenneth Walker. Yeah.
Oh, yikes, yikes. Okay, okay.
All right, all right. Yeah, you can have all the
All
Chuba
the
Hubbard
Chuba Chuba,
shares. Yeah.
all the chub in the world.
Yeah, it's all yours, bud. Uh, all right. Next one, number 26. Let me check my tiers. Yep, we're still in that same tier of like these teams are not competing this year, but maybe next year. They have enough good players that with a couple moves, maybe another year down the road, they could compete. We're talking about the Miami Dolphins here at number 26.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I wanted this team to be a lot lower, personally.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I feel like we're still I don't know what their Vegas win total is at. Last I
I
saw
can
it
tell
was
you,
like 8.5, 7.5, but probably
eight
somewhere
and a
maybe
half. Yep,
it's
yep.
man, if you can get 8.5, let's just bang the under.
Oh, oh, for sure. This team is trash.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's real bad. Even if Tua's healthy, it's and then they just trade away Jonnu Smith, so that complicates it. I honestly kind of like it.
And
So that
Jalen.
that way they have to actually use their two best players in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But man, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Devon Achane, he's the smallest running back in the league. He was healthy all year last year. Love that for him. Maybe he can do it again. But like him and Tua staying healthy all year, I that's the only way this team gets to 9 wins. It's like
This
their ceiling is so low.
There's no world this team gets to 9 wins. I feel like this is like the leftover team. This is like I wanted you to pair this team with the Saints because
Wow.
it's
Okay.
just a bunch of players that nobody wants anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty strong. I still like their defensive line. I think you could do a lot worse than Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as your wide receiver 1 and 2. Devon
Yeah.
Achane was great last year. But man, yeah, I mean their secondary is a huge weakness. They brought in Minka Fitzpatrick as kind of the backfill for Javon Holland, but then they lose Jalen Ramsey in the process, and their corners are just terrible. Linebackers are just okay.
Just okay, man. I mean, these guys are. This is like Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dodson, like 2 guys that are just like, oh, you got drafted by your team, it lasted 2 years, see you later, go to Miami.
A couple
Like
of
they're the
Seahawks
Washington.
project. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the Washington Wizards of the NFL.
Damn. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
throwing mad shade.
Yeah. No. I mean, you're not going to hear a counter argument from me beyond the fact that I think they have more above average players than the teams that we've talked about. But in terms of my faith in the offense, in the coaching, and in this resulting in wins, like I have no more or less faith than I do in the Panthers or the Titans. Like they're right there.
Yeah,
So
they're in a tough division. They're going to get last. I know you have the Jets ranked below them. I think
yeah,
Miami's going to be a top 5 pick next year, maybe
I mean,
top
look,
3.
if Tua gets hurt again, then you're probably right. Like it
Yeah,
really just comes
yeah,
down to that. And
and
how
that's
many?
yeah,
How do I project? Such such a fragile team.
right.
It's
Yeah, that's
really
a great
tough.
way of saying it. Yep, I
But
agree.
for fantasy, yeah, they're all risky because of the Tua situation. They're all risky. Every single player in the offense. I do like Achan, even though his ADP is really high. I think he's worth it. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes. With Jonnu gone, yes, they bring in Darren Waller, but it's not going to be a 1-for-1. Jonnu's another one of those players. Man, he caught 8 passing touchdowns, led this team in receiving touchdowns. Did Jonnu Smith, and now he's gone.
Right.
So. I don't know how you want to split that up, but there's a little bit more to go around. I think Tyreek Hill wasn't really healthy last year. I'm a little biased. He's on my dynasty team, so I'm going to be carrying water for Tyreek Hill all off season until I trade him. But man, yeah, I don't know. That's probably enough because yeah, like I don't know what I'm saying. I still think they're bad. I just think that for fantasy they can produce a little bit.
Yeah, I'm all about the HN train, but that's where it stops for me.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Funny, I thought that you were waiting for this next team to hit. This next team at 25 is the New York Giants.
I was. You're correct. I was waiting for that team, but then
Okay.
you reminded me about Miami, and I was like, oh yeah, this team should have been way lower.
Okay. Yeah, so the Giants, their defensive line is crazy. They have one of the best defensive lines in football, and they just poached Javon Holland from the Dolphins. We just talked about how they lost him. Well, he went to the Giants, and I really like what they're building on defense and on offense. They just have to be good enough. And man, I love Cam Scatterbo. I think that's a great addition. I expect him to overtake Tyrone Tracy as the year goes on. They got Malik Neighbors, and you could do worse than Russell Wilson. You could do a whole lot better, but yeah, I just think that this Giants team, they're pretty close to contending. They're not contending, but they're close.
So this is the same year, or sorry, this is the same tier as maybe next year.
Yeah.
We have okay, we haven't moved up. Okay, so I agree with that standpoint, and I definitely agree with you could do worse than Russell Wilson / Jameis / Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
And yeah, the pieces around them are pretty good. Theo Johnson as their tight end, a couple different running backs that can do a couple different things. Like you said, Malik Neighbors, Waddell Robinson, Darius Slayton. I mean, yeah, you're right. They could definitely do worse. And I love this. I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself from last year. I love this defense. Like this defense should be really formidable. And then they win and draft. They already were formidable,
Right.
at least on paper. And then they draft. Then they spend their the second overall pick on or third overall pick on said
Carter.
defensive line. Yeah, Abdul Carter. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is I am excited to see this Giants team get after the ball, get after the quarterback, and get a ton of sacks racked up.
It's going to be a scary team to play. Like that was a trap game for our Seahawks last year. We actually lost to the Giants, and now they just get scarier. So yeah, and you'll notice, what did we have? The Browns, Jets, Jaguars, Titans, Panthers. No, not the Panthers. Okay, so we had 4 AFC teams in a row, and then the Panthers, back to the AFC with the Dolphins, and then the Giants. So yeah, there's more bottom feeders in the AFC than there is the NFC. I mean, even some of the bad teams in the NFC, like the Giants, are going to be tough outs.
Yes.
And then here we are, number 24. This is the last team in this tier of, okay, they're not going to compete this year, but they got a lot of pieces, and they're probably going to compete next year. This is the best team that we've talked about so far. Obviously, we're going in order. Austin, why'd you say that? It's the New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh, I thought there was 3 different directions you were going to go, and that was not one of them.
you got them higher. You think they should be
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know that their Vegas win totals, I think 8.5. And
Correct.
When I first put this together, I had the Patriots way lower than this. And then I dug more into some Drake May stats, which I'll probably share in a later episode. But basically, his stats are terrible because they're season-long stats, and he only played 11 games. And then his per-game stats are terrible, but they're only terrible because he played a couple series in a game, and then he would either get hurt or they would take him out, and that happened 2 or 3 times. So some of his numbers look really bad, but when you actually comb through it, it's like, no, he was doing work, and especially rushing. Drake May has wheels, and he racked up rushing yards when he played. If you were to put him on a 17 game pace, he would be up there with Jalen Hurts for rushing yards.
Oh wow.
That's, I mean, what do you have, 8 honest games that he actually played?
Yeah.
So you just double that, and he's top 5. He's not in the Lamar, JD Daniels, those. It's those 2, and then a huge gap, and then it's Kyler, Jalen Hurts, and if Drake May was on a 17 game pace, he would have been there last year.
Wow.
So that's really exciting, and we'll see if it works, right? But I love the Stephon Diggs edition. I love the kid from Wazoo, Williams. There's a lot to be excited about. I don't know how it's all going to shake out, but he did a lot with very little last year, and now he actually has multiple weapons to work with, and I have more faith in the coaching staff. I think that's probably the biggest offseason improvement that they did. Was the coaching staff.
That's exactly where I was going to go next. Is I think we're missing the biggest addition of this team, and that is Mike Vrabel and the coaching style that he has, the culture changing style that he has. He's been in New England as a coach. I think this is a great move for them, and the greatest of the offseason. And man, for fantasy, I love me some Drake May. Grab me some Drake May in the 13th, 12th round, wherever round he's going in.
Yeah.
save your quarterback for him, because I agree. I think he's gonna break out. I think he is a great breakout candidate this year.
Yeah, I like it. I like that he's so late. You can take him and another quarterback. Maybe you take more
Mm-hmm.
of like a stable quarterback, like a Dak Prescott, and then with one of your
Right.
last picks, take Drake May as your flyer. Like I love that. And in two quarterback leagues, I'm all about it. I think both of those wide receivers I mentioned, Stephon Diggs and Kyle Williams, are both like sleeper wide receivers. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know who's going to be the one, but I feel like there's going to be enough to go around to make both of them values at the very least, if not steals in the draft. So yeah, I mean you're higher than on the Patriots than I am. I have them as the best team in this tier. That's like I don't think the Patriots are going to compete this year. They might they'll probably be like in the hunt for a long time
Yes.
in that
Yes.
graphic.
Yeah.
They're going
You're.
to be in the hunt, but
Yeah.
I had to draw the line somewhere, and you'll see this next tier. I call this next tier also Rans because they're not going to be
Oh,
mentioned in terms of the postseason, in terms of the Super Bowl. It's just like they're just there. They're there in the middle of the league. They're so forgettable. You would almost rather be like the Patriots or one of these teams that is worse right now,
mm,
but has a young quarterback. You could kind of like see the vision. These teams are just also Rans, and we're gonna go right here, number 23 with the Indianapolis Colts. Uh, the Colts won 8 games last year, and their defense was so injured. They still managed to win 8 games, which was crazy. I heard a stat that all 8 of their wins were one-score games. So I don't know.
I
I
just heard
think,
that today as well. Yep.
yeah, I think we listen to some of the same podcasts. But man, maybe their defense is a little healthier. Maybe they're a little less lucky in one-score games. Maybe it kind of cancels out. I have them at 23. Not much to talk about. I'm not interested in Daniel Jones. You can say he's so much better than Anthony Richardson, but like Daniel Jones wasn't good enough for the Giants. Like he's not going to be good enough for the Colts. Like he's not taking them
No.
to new heights.
No, he's not. We've seen Daniel Jones play. He's been a backup, and we've seen some resurgence from backups, but I don't think that's Daniel Jones's story. I think this is like the last year for the coach and the last year for the GM. I think Chris Ballard has an amazing resume, but if this year goes poorly, it's going to reflect really bad that he was the one that drafted Anthony Richardson. He was the one that brought in Daniel Jones, and neither of them worked. And he was the one that brought in Shane Steichen, and it didn't work. And this is new ownership after, this year is Ursay's daughters.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
I think this is a make or break it for a lot of people on this team, not just the coaches. Michael Pittman, if he's on a different team, we're talking about him as a top 14, top 12 wide receiver on depending on the team and the quarterback. But imagine Michael Pittman on the Chiefs, or imagine Michael Pittman on even the Bills. Like they would love a Michael Pittman. And
Yeah.
it's just sad that he's stuck in this like weird limbo situation. Everyone's talking up Josh Downs, and I'm like, yo, do you know who's throwing him the football? He can be the best wide receiver in the world, but if the guy can't throw 20 yards, why does it matter?
Yeah. Yeah. I think people forgot how bad Daniel Jones has been way too quickly. And yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
the industry can't shut up about Josh Downs. And they're talking about Josh Downs versus Michael Pittman. And they're even talking about their first round tight end, Tyler Warren.
Yep.
And I'm over
Yep.
here like I think Alec Pierce is their best wide receiver. No one's talking about him. And
Oh, that's funny.
the fact that there's like 4 guys who they're all going to be sharing targets. None of them are going to be super relevant. So I love Jonathan Taylor, and,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about where it stops for me. I think right
Yep.
around where you can get these Colts weapons, they're going right around like the Packers weapons and the 49ers receivers. And it's like, give me
Mm-hmm.
those guys. They have great quarterbacks on great
Way
offenses.
better odds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyways, yeah, we can kind of maybe we can kind of hit the accelerator here and go through a couple of these teams that are just kind of They're not bad, but they're also not interesting. And I think that perfectly describes this next team. Number 22, we got the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
Not
I
much.
how bad
Doo-doo head coach.
how bad can a Dak Prescott led team really be? Like he's so good, and that offensive line is so good. They even reinvested into it this year with they spent another first round pick on a great offensive lineman. It just their floor is so high. Um, yeah, I also don't have any faith that they're going to reach some great ceiling. Um,
I don't know, man.
Go for it.
This team is gonna, their over under right now is 7.5. This team is gonna hit the over with a healthy Dak Prescott. I mean, like you just said, this team is too good. Honestly, I think you have them ranked probably what at 22, probably just right. I probably wouldn't go any higher than this. I think the Colts need to be lower, and I think Dallas is just right because, yeah, I mean, I really hate that they let go of McCarthy, but at the same time, they go and get George Pickens. They have the normal core as a team. The
Yeah.
defense, they have Matt Eberflus coming by. I think it's going to be a solid 9-win team. 10, maybe even 10, double digit, 10 wins.
Yeah, you could be right. There's just no way that I think they're going to finish above the Commanders or the Eagles in their own division. That
No,
just makes it so
no.
hard. I can only rank them so high, but yeah, I think George Pickens is probably the best wide receiver two they've had since Dak Prescott's been there, unless I'm forgetting
Yes.
someone.
No, you're not. Terrence Williams, baby.
There's a lot to like. I really trust this passing offense, and I think that's the first time I've used that word trust in this whole exercise.
Yes.
So
yes.
I
That's a
love
good point.
CeeDee
That's a good
Lamb.
point.
I like George Pickens for where he's at in the draft. I think you could do worse. And even in the
Oh,
running game, we don't know who it's going to be, but the offensive line is so good, and I think the passing game that they're going to keep the chains moving, so there's going to be opportunities. Is that going to be Javonte Williams, or is it going to be Miles Sanders, or is it going to be some gross sort of split? We don't know, but
right.
there's going to be opportunity there. So I don't know. I
This
just
team.
did a mock draft and I took Javonte Williams. I think he was like my RB4 or something.
Wow. Oh, okay. 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 That's a good, low risk, high reward
Yeah,
situation.
maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's getting 18 carries a
Right.
game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And this team could easily be like the Cincinnati Bengals of the NFC, where they just have to score 30 points to even compete because the defense is just going to be so mishmash. Yes, you're going to have Micah Parsons and he's going to make a couple splash plays every game or so, every other game or so, but no, this is a team built for offense. They have an offensive minded head coach, and they're going to be slinging it all over the yard. So yeah, give me Dak, give me CD, give me George Pickens, hell, give me Jake Ferg. I mean,
Sure.
give me the Dallas offense. That's how I'm looking at them for fantasy this year.
Yeah, I really like their passing game. We're going to move on to the next team, and we're still in that same tier. It's the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep, I was wondering when these guys are going to come around.
Look, there's a lot to like. I mean, we love Pete Carroll. Under new management with Tom Brady and under new leadership in Geno Smith. Like it's a completely different team than it has been in the past, and there's a lot to like. Like you got Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty. Like they might lead the league in jersey sales. Uh,
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
But yeah, how high can I really rank? I think this is probably the highest at 21. Like I feel like I've got to be
100%.
above consensus here. So this is giving them a lot of love. I don't really need to explain why they're not higher. I guess I should explain why they're as high as they are. I think Pete Carroll really knows what he's doing. I guess I'm assuming that all these new pieces are going to fit together, and it's going to result in a better offense than we saw last year, and better just game management than we saw last year. Better, safer quarterbacking. But yeah, the defense is still a work in progress, and I think they're still a year away, and it's not like they have some young, exciting quarterback who could take the next step, like the Patriots or someone else. It's Geno Smith. It's like 35-year-old Geno Smith. So it's like, what does the
Yeah,
next step
yeah,
even look like? How high is their ceiling? I don't know. I put him at 21.
yeah, yeah. That I think that's pretty high. I think New England needs to be closer to them. I think in this type of conversation, and honestly, I could see them kind of getting a slow start. It's going to be a meld of a bunch of different players, head coach, trying to Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator. Like, it's going to be weird. It's going to be like an awkward prom dance at the very
Yeah.
beginning, and then they're going to get their groove on. They're going to figure it out. This team is going to be scoring lots of points.
So fantasy players for Las Vegas, there's some heavy hitters, right? Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. Those are like first or second round picks.
Yeah, Genty. I got burned the last time I drafted a rookie running back in the AFC West in the first round. I got burned hard. Yeah, that was Clyde Edwards-Alaire. So I kind of have a little PTSD around that moment. I think Genty's a lot better than that guy, but still, just drafting a rookie in the first round, I feel like that's just too risky. And I consider the 13th, if you're in a 12-man league, I consider the 13th pick just as equal as the 12th pick, because you could change it either way. It doesn't matter, right? So, yeah, just a top 15 pick on a rookie where you have no tape. You have nothing on this guy except for how he did on a college system against college players, and not even in the SEC college. That's another really important thing. I think you're just risking a lot for not the greatest. There's other risks that could have better rewards. And then with Brock Bowers, I think that he's going as your tight end one. I think that's exactly where he's going to land. I mean, I don't really see Sam Laporta taking a huge uptick. I don't really see Trey McBride figuring out the whole touchdown thing overnight. So yeah, I'm all about Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more down with the Brock Bowers pick than I am the Ashton Genty pick. For some reason, there's like Jonathan Taylor and Kyron Williams and just these like rock solid running backs on better offenses later, available like a whole round plus later than Ashton Genty.
Right.
So I don't understand why I would need to take that risk. And yeah, Genty is a much better prospect than CEH, but like that situation, it was just so juicy because he was going to the Chiefs, who had just had this offensive explosion like we hadn't seen before. And it was just like, oh, he's going to be the bell cow running back for the greatest offense in football. Like, that's why he was a first round pick at the time. And no one's talking about the Raiders offense that way. So he's just another running back. Like, basically Josh Jacobs with the Packers, he's a bell cow running back who was a first round pick, very highly touted, and he's like round 3. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I like Jacoby Myers as like a sleeper wide receiver, just guaranteed volume. You just gotta love it. Upgrade at quarterback. I expect him to be a very solid pick.
I agree.
Number 20, the Arizona Cardinals. All these teams in this tier are just like, it's just like, I don't know what to do with them.
So meh.
You're not good enough, but you don't suck. So it's like, I don't know. We can talk about the Cardinals real quick. I love how concentrated the offense is around McBride and Harrison and James Conner. It's just like it's like just those 3 players, which is great for fantasy football, not great for NFL offense. There's some real problems. Like you said, Trey McBride couldn't score touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr. was like a decoy most of the time, which didn't make sense at all. Maybe it was just a rookie thing. Maybe it's not. We don't know. And then, yeah, James Conner's a rock star. So I don't know. They've made some
I mean,
great strides on defense in terms of personnel. If we want to talk about
right.
them for NFL, but like, yeah, I think they're still the worst team in their division. There's just nothing to
Oh
write home
yeah,
about. Yeah.
hands down. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think they're too far off from the Seahawks, but the I love the Josh Sweat signing that they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I love that they brought back Calais Campbell for probably his last year. There's just a lot of questions with the offensive coordinator, honestly, and if the coaching can figure out how to best utilize all their players, I think this could be a team that could compete for the division title. That's how like talented this team is, but talent doesn't always necessarily win you games. Strategy and scheme and optimizing players, that's what wins you games in the NFL.
Yeah. I have no idea what to make of Kyler Murray at this point because he's disappointing
It's
for
probably
NFL and he's disappointing for fantasy. It's
yeah, I don't know. Is he that disappointing for fantasy? Isn't he normally finished as a top 10 quarterback? Maybe even top
yeah,
eight?
back end top 10. I think I don't know. It's just never really quite lives up to the hype.
Yeah. I
But
think
anyways,
this team is going to be stuck in Kyler Murray wherever he takes them year to year. Honestly, they're never going to get rid of him, and
yeah.
he's never going to take them to the promised land. So they're just going to be stuck in this purgatory of like being okay.
Speaking of purgatory, number 19, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh boy, wow, that's a great team to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right? Just the same sort of themes we've been talking about, like with the Cowboys. It's like, okay, well, you have no real ceiling, but like you're too good to be ranked that low.
Right,
This is where
right.
they land. I like DK Metcalf. I think Aaron Rodgers. This is his last ride. Um, his play. I expect to roughly match that of Russell Wilson from last year. So
Sure.
it's not that big of an upgrade or downgrade. But yeah, just Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers, how could they possibly get along? Like, how could this possibly work?
Oh
Arthur Smith
yeah.
is such a run first guy, and Aaron Rodgers loves to just call his own plays, and it just seems like a match made in hell. I'm
That's
probably
hilarious.
avoiding this team entirely for fantasy. I don't know which
Oh,
running back. It looks like they're going to split. DK Metcalf,
sure.
you could probably talk me into just because I'm a homer, but I not excited. I'm not thrilled about it. What do you think?
I say give me DK this year. I mean, I've texted you a lot about
Okay.
DK going into this year, and I think for redraft, he's a great wide receiver too. I think he's going to get all the volume. I think yes, they include John. They've got John O. Smith and they got Pat Frymuth. And yeah, sure, maybe they're going to get touchdowns, but I think anytime they pass the ball, it's going to be a DK. If they're not in the red zone, it's just going to be to DK Metcalf, and I'm all about that. But yeah, you're right. I think what's going to happen is they're going to realize their running backs are trash. And we have to lean on Aaron to win games because our
Yeah.
defense is going to hold the other team to hopefully less than 20 points, and Aaron Rodgers is going to get his 2 touchdowns.
I mean, I have them as the best team in the league that we've talked about so far. So
I I agree. I would not disagree with that.
yeah, I imagine in the red zone you have DK Metcalf over here, Jonnu Smith over there, and Pat Fryermuth is probably still on the field. They're probably going to run a bunch of 2 tight end sets, right? So
Right.
yeah, it's that's a dangerous group, and I really liked Caleb Johnson in college.
Hmm.
I expect him to see the bulk of the work, and it's just Arthur Smith is just not trustworthy as an offensive coordinator for fantasy football. We know that. I don't know how
Yeah.
much Jalen Warren is going to be involved, but I'm not thrilled to hit that draft button on any Steeler this year. But as a team, they should be good. We haven't even talked about the defense.
Yes.
I mean, they have a
Yes.
great defense, and they just added Jalen Ramsey. So there's a lot to be excited about
I
as a
know.
Steelers fan. If you're a Steelers fan, yeah, Just they're going to be a tough out every single week, and they're going to be favored in a lot of games. And we'll see what Aaron Rodgers brings. If he brings it, then this team could compete for the playoffs.
Yes, I totally agree.
I think that's the first time
It's gonna be very
that I've used that word as well. Playoffs.
yes, that's a good point. Yeah, it's gonna be totally reliant on the defense and Aaron Rodgers.
All right. Two more teams to talk about. However, we only have one more team in this tier. This
Oh.
tier, may I remind you, Andy, is called Also Rans. At 18, we have our Seattle Seahawks.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I made a last
Not
minute
far
change.
off from the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, this was a last minute change. I had them higher, and I was just like, what am I doing? Like no, we at the very least we need to set our expectations at a place where the team has a chance to exceed them. You know, just from an emotional standpoint, it's better to under promise and over deliver. So I'm gonna, in these rankings, we're gonna say that they're an also ran, because while I love the defense, they just completely gutted the offense. We went from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. We went from DK Metcalf to Marquez Valdez Scantling. We went from Tyler Lockett to Cooper Kupp.
Jake Bobo.
Yeah. We added Cooper Kupp, but I don't know. It's hard to get excited about that. That's pretty sad. And then the offensive line. Yes, we spent a first-round pick on an offensive lineman. We were begging the team to do that, and they did it. And that's why they're up here at 18.
Right.
But yeah, I can't put them any higher than that, just because I don't know about the Sam Darnold offense. I don't know about our offensive coordinator. I'm very skeptical. But yeah, Andy, maybe you talk about how you feel about this team, and then we can shift the conversation to the defense a little bit.
Sure, yeah. I think this offense is going to be really good next year after a year of understanding each other's rhythms, cadence, playing with each other. These are a bunch. Think about the Seahawks in years past, last couple of years. Geno was on the team after Russ left, and they just molded and melded together with the wide receivers and the pass catchers, running backs, etc. It was easy. It was an easy transition, and now we have a new, like you just said, new quarterback, new wide receivers. Our running back is always hurt, and I just, this team is going to take a while to figure out what's going on. A brand new offensive coordinator for now the third year, right? So, it's just too much variant, and I think after a year of playing together, we're going to be really good. Not this year though. This is a perfect. We're going to be 8 and 9.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think, yeah, year 2 in a new system. Our offensive coordinator just needs more experience. I think Sam Darnold could use a year of not changing teams. He's not going to get that this year, right? He's going to have to start over. He's got a nice contract, but yeah, I am worried about that. I love what we've done on the defensive side of the ball. Nick Eamon-Warry is going to be our Kyle Hamilton, and I expect to have just a lot of creative blitzes and just cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams. So hopefully that can lower the bar in terms of points required to win a game for Sam Darnold and company, but I don't know. Let's talk about fantasy. You keep mentioning how Ken Walker can't stay healthy. I thought every running back missed like a few games a year. Like,
yeah, not really, not the good ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I get that some people are exhausted by that, but I think you can do a lot worse. Like this is not a split backfield, I guess is what I want to communicate. Some running backs, they miss the whole year, like a CMC, or you know, like we haven't seen that from Ken Walker. He plays like 12 to 14 games a year, and when he plays, he's usually the bell cow. Charbonnet's a great running back, but he's clearly behind him in the depth chart in the pecking order. So I do like Kenneth Walker. In terms of receiving, JSN's ADP is too high. Cooper Kupp is too risky. Maybe it's MVS. Maybe as like a last round, dart throw, and he's gonna catch a few bombs. Like, I don't know. He had some pretty nice weeks with the Saints under the same offensive coordinator. You know, he handpicked him. Said, "Yeah, that guy actually worked for me in New Orleans last year. I'm gonna bring him over to Seattle with me." So
Right.
there's that.
Yeah, I'm staying away from. I generally stay away from Seahawks players in fantasy as a
Yeah.
whole, just because of the emotional toll it brings me. But this year especially, I'm staying away. I was really high on Cooper Cup when he first came onto the team, probably just because of the hype and the, the fact that he is from Washington. So but now the more I'm thinking about it, the more I talk about this team, I'm like, man, like I don't know. I'm still
Yeah.
kind of like really hopeful that he'll come around and he could be like that guy that he's proven to this. He's done it to us before, where we were all down on Cooper Cup with the Rams, and then he comes out and just balls out the next year, and we're like, why did we put him down there? You know?
Yeah.
So I could kind of see that happening again. I wouldn't mind doing a dart throw on Cooper Cup, but that's it.
He has a very wide range of outcomes. I think there's a lot of reasons to be concerned in terms of the quarterback. He's going from Matt Stafford to Sam Darnold. And then just, is this offense even going to work as designed? The offensive line is bad. Like, there's a lot of concerns before you even get to his age and his injury history. And so then that added on top, it's like, oh boy, well, I could just take Jacoby Myers instead and just call it a day.
Yes,
you know?
yes, and yeah, exactly.
That wraps up the also rans. So this next tier of teams, I'm calling them, wait for it, Super Bowl long shots. Okay?
Ooh, okay.
You're saying there's a chance. Okay? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, okay. This is where we can start talking about teams with a real ceiling to actually do something special this year. And the worst of those teams is the last team that we're going to talk about in this episode. I have them at number 17. You've been waiting for them. Here they are, the Chicago Bears, with Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, first-round pick Colston Loveland, first-round pick the year before, Rome Odunze. They're on paper, they're really good, and now they actually have a coaching staff that I have trust in, that I feel like they'll be able to actually follow through on this promise. You know, you can be young and exciting and promising for the future, but at some point it has to actually translate into production and wins. And I just really love Ben Johnson and what he's going to bring to this team. I believe that it is going to translate. Is it going to be this year? Is this year going to be like their year? Well, I don't know. I put them at 17, so I'm not calling for them to win the division or anything like that, but
Right.
there's a lot to like. And on the defensive side of the ball too, I mean, shoot, they had one of the better defenses last year.
This team could win the division or they could get last place. That's the range of this team's ability. Yeah, unfortunately, you kind of just have to erase last year. That's
Totally.
I know that's not possible. And we're going to hold Rome, we're going to hold DJ Moore, we're going to hold DeAndre Swift, and most importantly, we're going to hold Caleb Williams to what they did last year, and we're going to compare them to those but in your mind, do your best to just wipe your memory. Oh, the Bears are a brand new organization. They have Caleb Williams, first overall pick. They have Rome, fifth overall pick. DJ Moore, a veteran. Like, this is an expansion team. And holy crap, on paper, they are insane. That's how I'm trying to stay focused on this team. That's where I'm going with fantasy football.
Yeah.
That's where I see this team projecting to not get last in their division. I don't think they will be last in this division. Saying this now, not as bold as a take as last year, but that's what I'm sticking to.
Yeah, I mean, I have them as the lowest ranked team in the NFC North, but I'm also giving them a long shot chance to win the NFC. Like that's,
yes.
If that doesn't speak to their range of outcomes, like I don't know what does. So I want to just read off the offseason changes that they made to their O-line.
Sure.
Joe Thuney, who is like the highly coveted guard from Kansas City. Some people were calling him the best guard in the league. He went to the Bears. Drew Dahlman, the center, who you specifically on this podcast, what you were pounding the table saying this is who the Seahawks need at center. Well, he went to the Bears. And then Jonah Jackson, who he is another guard who just in free agency left the Rams to come here. And now the Bears, they already had a couple of good tackles, so this is looking like a great O-line. And then their secondary, if I can just continue to do this obnoxious thing where I read names, safety, you have Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard. Like, that's got to be one of the top
Right.
safety duos in the league. And then their cornerbacks, Tyreek Stevenson, Jalen Johnson, their nickelback, Kyler Gordon. If you know ball, you know that, like, there is not a weakness in this secondary. That's really, really cool. There's a lot to get excited about, but it's just like, is this chronic franchise ineptitude going to overcome all of the great offseason additions? It's like those two things are just totally at war.
I agree.
But yeah, no. For fantasy football, I think DJ Moore is being way overlooked. I think everyone's getting really excited about Rome Odunze and the incoming rookies, but it's like, man, Keenan Allen, he soaked up so many targets and receptions and touchdowns. He led this team in receiving touchdowns, did Keenan Allen. And with him gone, I think these rookies are going to eat into that workload. But DJ Moore is still going to get his. That's how I see this. And DJ Moore finished as wide receiver 6 2 years ago. He was 16 last year. And right now in ADP, he's wide receiver 21. So that just doesn't make sense to me with all this improvement and just good quarterback play from Caleb Williams down the stretch.
Sure. I mean, his last couple, I mean, he was in Carolina those other years, but he was 22, 19, 22. So yeah, his ADP is reflecting his Carolina days, not so much his Chicago days. So I totally agree with you. I think he is going to definitely outdo his ADP, be a top 15 wide receiver. So the fact that you can draft him, I don't know exactly what round that is, but yeah, as the 21st wide receiver, heck, even 20th wide receiver, he is definitely going to be outshine that. I totally agree. And give me Caleb Williams this year too. I mean, why not? Why not take a long shot? If you're willing to take Drake May, why not take Caleb Williams in my mind, brand new head coach Ben Johnson that made Jared Goff look like an MVP. If he can make Jared Goff look like an MVP, he can make Caleb Williams with this new fresh offensive line make him look like an MVP.
Yeah, there were 3 rookie quarterbacks besides Jaden Daniels that really impressed when it came to rushing yards. We'd already talked about Drake May. He scored like 400-something rushing yards, and that was only in 11 games. But also, Bo Nix and Caleb Williams ran for 400-something rushing yards, which they were all top 10 in the league in quarterback rushing yards. I think they were like 7, 8, and 9. These 3 rookie quarterbacks: Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, and Drake May. So yeah, there's a lot to like. I think he's absolutely a target. You could talk yourself into Rome Odunze if you think just think the second year breakout's going to happen with a better offensive coordinator, better O-line. I think DJ Moore is just really safe, and he's a safe bet to outperform his ADP. Last thing I'll say about the Bears, and then we'll close out. Take yourself back to last year. The Bears, they somehow found themselves early on as like a plus 500 team. Everyone was talking about this NFC North and how all 4 teams have these great records, right? It's week 7. The Bears are 4-2 somehow, and they're going up against the Commanders, and they're up by 5 points with 11 seconds left. And Jaden Daniels throws his Hail Mary touchdown to win the game off of a tipped pass, right? Stealing that win. So they would have been 5-2, and their next 2 games in the season were against the Cardinals and the Patriots. Very winnable games for a team that's 5-2 and would have had a 4-game win streak going up against the Cardinals and the Patriots. So you could be looking at 6-2, 6-3, maybe even 7-2. Like,
wow,
it's like that play derailed their season because after
100%. Oh, I totally agree. I've said that multiple times to my Bears fans, friends, to you. I mean, that play determined their entire season, and their coach. This is how important coaching staff is. The coaching staff was not able to rally the troops and show them that this was a one-off thing. And we can do better. We're better than this. We were winning 11 seconds to go. We're a top tier team. We deserve to be in the conversation of Super Bowl contenders. None of that conversation was had. It was like, good try, on to the next one. And then the morale was zero in that locker room.
Yeah,
and there was no way to bring it up.
Or it went the other way. Or the coaches were like pissed at their players, like, you suck, like, you just got me fired, like, I can't believe that, like it.
Maybe so.
Maybe they came down too hard, maybe they didn't come down hard enough. Who's to say? But yeah,
the respect for the coaching went out the window. Yes. After whatever happened, the respect went out the window for that coaching staff after that game, and they were never able to pick it back up.
Yeah, so that was teams 32 through 17. And we got 3 more NFC North teams coming next episode.
Oh, boy.
Spoiler alert. Lock in. Subscribe.
Yeah, but
all the things.
Lock in, subscribe.
Wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube. Lock in with us for the season because, we got a lot more content coming. Some of it's fantasy football. Some of it's just talking ball. Stick around, guys.
Glad to be back, bud.
Yeah, same. Thanks a ton for making it to the end of the episode. You're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free, easy way to support the show, and it really helps us out. And leave us your comments down below if you're on YouTube, or send in your questions at thefantasyflowpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.